Have you ever wondered what deep secrets your inner self holds? The universe led you here at this very moment to discover a deeper truth. Today we will deal with Carl Jung's fascinating statements about the higher self and why they are so shocking and insightful. Carl Jung, an important Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, has influenced psychology like no other. As the founder of analytical psychology, Jung not only explored the depths of the human mind, but also illuminated the spiritual dimensions of our existence. His theories about the collective unconscious, archetypes, and the higher self have inspired countless people and opened up new ways to self-discovery. In this video, we will reveal Carl Jung's core messages about the higher self and examine what they mean to us today. You will learn how Jung defined the higher self and what role it plays in personality development. We will analyze important quotes from Jung and explore their deeper meanings. In addition, we look at the spiritual and cultural implications of his theories and how they are seen in modern psychology. Now we come to a detailed examination of Jung's theories in the context of today's time and practice. You will hear examples and success stories from people who have had transformative experiences through Jung's theories. Finally, we offer you further resources and literature so that you can continue your own journey to discover your higher self. Are you ready to explore the deep mysteries of your inner self? Let's dive into the fascinating world of Carl Jung together and discover the wisdom he had to share about the higher self. Now we come to the question, what exactly is the higher self according to Carl Jung? Join us on this exciting journey. Carl Gustav Jung, born on the 26th July 1875 in Keswil, Switzerland, was an outstanding psychiatrist and psychoanalyst whose work has had a lasting influence on psychology. He began his academic career with medical studies at the University of Basel and later specialized in psychiatry. In 1900, Jung took up a position at Burghalsli, a renowned psychiatric hospital in Zurich. There he worked under Eugen Bleuler and developed a deep interest in psychoanalysis. Jung's influence on psychology is immense. He is the founder of analytical psychology, a school of psychotherapy that focuses on the study of the unconscious. His main theories include the collective unconscious, archetypes, individualization, and the conception of the higher self. Jung was convinced that the unconscious consists not only of repressed memories and instincts, but also has a collective dimension that contains universal, superpersonal elements that he called archetypes. A central aspect of Jung's work was his research and his deep interest in spirituality and the unconscious. He believed that spiritual experiences and symbols are decisive components of human life and that they are deeply rooted in our collective unconscious. His studies included not only Western psychological and medical practices, but also Eastern philosophies and religious traditions. He was fascinated by alchemy, mysticism, and myths, and he integrated these elements into his psychological theories. Jung regarded the unconscious as a dynamic, creative space that contributes significantly to human development. His concepts of the shadow, the anima, and the animus, as well as the self as the integral center of the psyche, were revolutionary. He saw the individualization, the process of self-realisation, and the integration of the different parts of the self, as the central way to mental health and completeness. Now that we have a clear picture of Carl Jung's life and his contributions to psychology, we want to deal with his specific view of the higher self. Next, we will define what Jung understood by the higher self and what meaning this concept had in his theory. Join us further to delve deeper into the wisdom of Carl Jung. Carl Jung described the higher self as the true center of the human psyche, which represents the sum of all consciousness and unconscious aspects of an individual. The higher self is the central, integrative element that connects the different parts of the psyche, including the conscious, the unconscious, and the collective unconscious. Jung considered the higher self as the place where the individual finds his deepest truth and authenticity, beyond social conditioning and superficial identities. An important difference between the higher self and other psychological concepts such as the ego lies in their function and their influence on the individual. While the ego acts as the conscious self that controls our everyday thoughts, feelings, and actions, the higher self is a deeper, superior authority. The ego is often characterized by fears, wishes, and social expectations, while the higher self rests in a timeless, untouched wisdom. Jung saw the ego as necessary for navigation in the physical world, but it must be integrated through the process of individuation and reconciled with the higher self in order to achieve true fulfillment and wholeness. Jung's view of the connection between the individual and the higher self is closely linked to the process of individualization. He believed that the path to mental health and spiritual fulfillment is to recognize, integrate, and harmonize the different parts of the psyche. The individualization process involves the conscious recognition and acceptance of unconscious content, the integration of the shadow, the hidden and often repressed aspects of the personality, and the union of the anima and the animus, the inner female and male principles. Through this integration, the individual reaches a state of wholeness in which the higher self is recognized as the central and uniting force. Jung often described this journey as a spiritual search that includes both psychological and mystical elements. He saw the higher self as the inner leader who guides and inspires the individual on this path. This connection is not only intellectual, but also emotional and spiritual. It requires courage, self-reflection, and the willingness to dive deep into one's own inner worlds. Now that we have better understood the concept of the higher self according to Carl Jung, we want to look at some of his key quotes and their deeper meanings next. These quotes will help us to understand his perspectives and insights even better. Join us on this fascinating journey into the depths of the human psyche. Carl Jung has made numerous profound statements about the higher self, which still inspire and stimulate reflection. Let's look at some of his most important quotes and analyze their meaning and the reactions of experts to them. One of Jung's best-known quotes is, "If you look outside, you dream; you look inside, you wake up." This quote emphasizes the importance of inner exploration and self-reflection in order to recognize the true self. Jung points out that true awakening and self-realization are only possible through the turn to our interior and the connection with the higher self. It is an invitation to see through the external illusions and to discover the deeper truths in us. Another important quote is, "Until you make the unconscious aware, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Here, Jung addresses the need to bring the unconscious contents of the psyche into consciousness. The higher self plays a decisive role in this process, as it serves as an intermediary between the conscious and unconscious mind. By recognizing and integrating the hidden aspects of our psyche, we can consciously shape our lives and unfold our true potential. Jung also said, "The self is not only the center, but also the whole scope that encompasses the conscious and unconscious psyche. It is the center of this totality, as the self is the center of consciousness." This statement emphasizes the wholeness and integration function of the higher self. The self is not only a part of us, but represents the entirety of our psychological existence. It is the goal of individuality to achieve and recognize this totality. The analysis of these quotes shows that Jung regarded the higher self as a central force that helps us to overcome our inner contradictions and to lead a harmonious, fulfilled life. His statements have deep spiritual and psychological implications and provide guidance for the path to self-realization. Experts have often commented on and interpreted Jung's views. Many psychologists and therapists appreciate his work as pioneering the understanding of the human psyche and the spiritual dimensions of life. However, some critics argue that Jung's concepts are too metaphysical and difficult to grasp scientifically. Nevertheless, his influence on modern psychology remains undeniable, and his ideas about the higher self continue to have a strong reverberation in therapeutic practice and spiritual development. Now that we guys have learned about key quotes and their meanings, we will next look at how his theories are seen in the context of modern psychology. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the relevance and application of Boy's ideas in this day and age. Carl Jung's theories about the higher self still have significant relevance today and are appreciated and applied in various areas of modern psychology and psychotherapy. His concept of the higher self as an integrative center of the psyche offers valuable insights into human nature and the search for self-realization. Nowadays, many psychologists and therapists see Boy's ideas as groundbreaking and timeless. The idea that the higher self plays a central role in mental health and personality development is integrated into many therapeutic approaches. Especially in humanistic and transpersonal psychology, Jung's theories are very popular. These disciplines emphasize the importance of self-realization, personal development, and the spiritual dimension of being human, all aspects that Jung covered in detail in his work. If you compare Jung's theories with other psychological models, there is an interesting variety of approaches and perspectives. For example, Sigmund Freud's concept of the id, I, and over me stands in contrast to Jung's idea of the higher self. While Freud focused mainly on the inner conflicts and the instincts that influence the behavior, Jung placed greater emphasis on the integration of the unconscious and spiritual development. Alfred Adler's individual psychology, which focuses on the pursuit of power and superiority, also offers a different perspective on human motivation compared to Jung's search for wholeness and self-realization. In cognitive behavioral therapy, KVT for short, which is strongly based on empirical methods and scientific evidence, Jung's concepts are less used, as these approaches are often considered too subjective and not measurable. Nevertheless, there are overlaps in the emphasis on inner processes and the need to recognize and transform unconscious thought patterns. The relevance of Jung's theories for today lies in particular in their ability to regard the human being as a holistic being that has both psychological and spiritual needs. In a world that is often dominated by materialism and external successes, Jung's approach offers a deeper, meaningful alternative. His ideas encourage inner reflection, to deal with one's own shadow and the search for a higher meaning in life. Many modern forms of therapy, such as Gestalt therapy, depth psychology and integrative therapy, have adopted and further developed elements of Jung's theories. These approaches use the concepts of the higher self, archetypes, and individualization to help patients develop a deeper understanding of themselves and lead a fulfilled life. Now that we have shed light on the importance of Jung's theories in modern psychology, we will next examine how the higher self influences personality development and what practical applications there are for it. Join us on this fascinating journey through the depths of the human psyche. Carl Jung considered the higher self as a central element in personality development and the search for wholeness. He saw the higher self as the integrative core, which connects the various aspects of the psyche, the conscious, the unconscious and the collective unconscious. The connection with the higher self makes the process of individuation possible, in which the individual recognizes his true nature and realizes himself in his entirety. Jung's view of the role of the higher self in personal development is deeply rooted in his theory of individualization. He described this process as a journey to self-knowledge, in which the individual brings the unconscious parts of his psyche into consciousness and integrates them. The higher self acts as an inner leader and mentor who guides the individual through the often challenging but ultimately rewarding journey to self-realization. Jung believed that the higher self is inherent in every human being and is waiting to be discovered and integrated. The higher self contributes significantly to self-realization by helping the individual to find his true identity and meaning in life. It promotes a deep understanding of one's own abilities, needs and provisions. By connecting with the higher self, the individual gains clarity and insight, which allows him to live authentically and in accordance with his innermost being. This self-realization leads to a feeling of fulfillment and inner peace, as the individual is in harmony with himself and his environment. There are various practical applications and exercises to strengthen the connection with the higher self. A basic practice is meditation. Through regular meditation exercises, you can calm your mind and create a space of silence in which you can receive the subtle messages of your higher self. A special form of meditation is light meditation, in which you imagine how a radiant light flows into you and connects you with your higher self. Another effective tool is journaling. Write regularly about your thoughts, feelings and dreams to gain deeper insights into your interior. Keeping a diary can help you to recognize patterns and decipher the messages of your higher self. Ask yourself questions like, what is my true calling? Or, how can I realize my full potential? And intuitively send the answers to you. Visualization exercises are also helpful. Imagine how you meet your higher self, perhaps in the form of a wise mentor or as a radiant being of light. Visualize how you communicate with this higher self and receive its wisdom and guidance. These exercises can help you build a strong and clear connection to your higher self. Another practical tool is working with affirmations. Positive statements such as, I am in connection with my higher self or I trust the wisdom of my inner leader can help you to align your subconscious with cooperation with your higher self. Now that we have understood how the higher self influences personality development and what practical applications there are, we want to devote ourselves next to the spiritual and cultural implications of Jung's theories. Join us further to explore the deeper levels of these fascinating concepts. Carl Jung's ideas about the higher self have a profound influence on spiritual movements worldwide. His theories offer a bridge between psychology and spirituality and have been popular in many spiritual communities and practices. Jung realized that spiritual experiences and symbols are essential components of human life and that they play an important role in the process of self-realization. Jung's concepts, especially the idea of the higher self, have influenced many spiritual movements, including the New Age movement and transpersonal psychology. These movements emphasize the importance of the spiritual dimension of life and the need to recognize and integrate the higher self. Jung considered spiritual practices such as meditation, dream interpretation and symbol work as ways to discover the higher self and heal the soul. A comparison with Eastern philosophies and religions shows that Jung's ideas of the psyche and the higher self have many parallels to concepts in Hinduism and Buddhism. In Hinduism, there is the concept of Atman, the inner self, which is one with Brahman, the universal consciousness. This idea resembles Jung's higher self, which represents the integrative center of the psyche and is connected to the collective unconscious. Likewise, the idea of Buddha nature can be found in Buddhism, which is present in every being as a pure, immaculate consciousness. Jung appreciated these Eastern traditions and integrated many of their ideas into his own theories. Across cultures, there are many views on the higher self, which have similarities with young people's ideas. In Western esotericism and mysticism, there is the concept of divine spark or inner light, which is similar to the higher self. In the indigenous spirituality of many cultures, there is also the idea of a higher consciousness that goes beyond the individual self and is connected to nature and the universe. These universal concepts show that the idea of a higher self is a fundamental human experience that can be found in many cultures and traditions. Jung's theories have helped to combine these different cultural and spiritual views and promote a deeper understanding of the human psyche and its spiritual dimension. His works encourage us to look beyond cultural boundaries and recognize the common spiritual truths that connect us all. Now that we have understood the spiritual and cultural implications of Jung's ideas, we want to devote ourselves to the criticisms and controversies that surround his theories. These discussions are important to get a balanced picture of Jung's influence and relevance. Join us on this fascinating journey through the human psyche and its spiritual dimensions. Carl Jung's theories have not only found admiration and support, but also triggered considerable criticism and controversy. His profound insights into the human psyche and his spiritual views have led both advocates and critics to discuss his work intensively. One of the most common critical voices against Jung's theories concerns the scientific basis of his ideas. Many psychologists and scientists argue that Jung's concepts, such as the collective unconscious and the archetypes, are difficult to empirically check and scientifically validate. They criticize that Jung's theories are too speculative and metaphysical to be considered strict scientific theories. These critics emphasize the need for empirical evidence and argue that psychological theories should be based on objective data and measurable results. Another point of criticism concerns Jung's use of spiritual and religious symbols. Some critics argue that his tendency to integrate mystical and esoteric elements into his psychological theories blurs the boundary between psychology and religion and undermines scientific rigor. This mixture of psychology and spirituality is considered problematic by some, as it can lead to misunderstandings and misunderstandings. Despite this criticism, there are many supporters of Jung's work who consider his theories to be revolutionary and pioneering. Advocates argue that Jung's concepts of the collective unconscious, the archetypes, and the higher self offer profound insights into human nature and psychological life that go beyond the purely scientific approaches. They emphasize that Jung's theories offer a holistic approach to the human psyche that takes into account both the psychological and spiritual aspects of life. An important argument of Jung's advocates is that his theories do not necessarily have to be checked in the same way as scientific theories. They argue that psychological and spiritual phenomena are often subjective and difficult to measure, and that Jung's approaches are therefore justified by their therapeutic effectiveness and deeper significance for human life. Many therapists and psychologists report positive results and profound healings achieved through the application of Jung's theories. In addition, it is emphasized that Jung's work has opened important doors to intercultural understanding and spiritual growth. His willingness to integrate Eastern philosophies and religious traditions into his work has led to a deeper understanding of human experience and the common spiritual truths that share many cultures and belief systems. So the discussion about Jung's theories is complex. While his approaches do not always meet the strict requirements of scientific methodology, they still offer valuable insights and tools for researching the human psyche and promoting personal and spiritual growth. Now that we have shed light on the criticism and controversies around Jung's theories, we want to look at some practical examples next. These case studies and anecdotes show how Jung's theories are applied in the real world and what transformative power they can have. Continue with us on this fascinating journey. Carl Jung's theories about the higher self have enabled transformative experiences for many people and are used in practice by numerous psychologists and therapists. Here are some inspiring case studies and anecdotes that show how these concepts are applied in the real world and what profound effects they can have. An impressive case study is that of Maria, a woman who struggled for years with deep fears and self-doubt. By working with a Jungian therapist, Maria began to analyze her dreams and understand the symbols that emerged from her unconscious. Over time, she realized that many of her fears were due to unresolved conflicts and suppressed parts of herself. Through the connection with her higher self and the integration of these repressed aspects, Maria experienced a deep healing and a new feeling of wholeness and self-acceptance. Another example is the story of Tom, a successful businessman who felt a feeling of emptiness despite external success. In therapy, he began to deal with the archetypes that appeared in his dreams and fantasies. Especially working with the archetype of the hero helped him to gain a new perspective on his life journey. By connecting with his higher self, Tom found not only a new meaning in life, but also a deeper spiritual fulfillment that helped him to reconcile his professional and personal goals. Therapists and psychologists who use Boy's approaches often report on the profound changes that their clients experience by working with the higher self. Dr. Johanna Weiss, a Jungian analyst, says, working with the higher self opens up a dimension of healing that goes far beyond what we can achieve in traditional therapy. It allows clients to find a deeper connection to their inner core and thereby experience true transformation. In practice, the concept of the higher self is often integrated by different techniques and methods. An example is the dream interpretation, in which dreams are considered as messages of the higher self. By learning to analyze their dreams and understand the symbols they contain, clients can gain valuable insights into their unconscious processes and their true nature. Another practical application is working with active imagination, a technique that Jung developed. Clients visualize scenes or figures from their dreams and consciously interact with them. This method makes it possible to get in touch directly with the unconscious contents and the higher self and to experience deeper insights and healing. In self-help, the higher self can be integrated through daily meditation and mindfulness practices. By meditating regularly and tuning into the inner messages, you can build a stronger connection to the higher self. Keeping a diary in which you record thoughts, feelings, and dreams can also help to better understand the messages of the higher self and implement them in everyday life. Now that we have seen how Jung's theories about the higher self are applied in practice, let's next look at how Carl Jung's influence is on modern self-help and coaching. These applications show how relevant and useful his theories are even in today's world. Continue with us on this fascinating journey. Carl Jung's profound insights into the human psyche and his theories about the higher self have a significant influence on modern self-help and coaching. Many practitioners have adapted his ideas and integrated them into their methods to help people lead a fulfilling and authentic life. Jung's concepts such as the collective unconscious, archetypes, and the higher self offer valuable tools for self-reflection and personal development. In the field of self-help, these concepts are often used to encourage people to deal with their inner resources and unconscious patterns. Through books, workshops, and online courses, participants learn to interpret their dreams, integrate their dark sides, and use their inner wisdom to master challenges and realize their full potential. In coaching, Boy's theories are used to support clients in bringing their professional and personal goals into harmony with their higher self. Coaches who use Boy's approaches help their clients to gain deeper insights into their motivations and blockages. They use techniques such as working with archetypes, active imagination, and symbolic work to help clients discover their inner leadership and make authentic decisions. An example of a modern practitioner who uses Jung's theories is James Hollis, a well-known Jungian analyst and author. Hollis has written numerous books dealing with the application of Jung's ideas in the modern world. His work shows how people can find a deeper understanding of themselves and their life's mission by integrating Jung's concepts. Another example is Carol Pearson, who uses Boy's archetypes in her coaching programs. Her work focuses on helping people discover and develop their inner heroes, magicians, and sages. Pearson shows how these archetypes can guide us by helping us recognize and use our strengths and challenges. The advantages of applying Jung's theories in the self-help and coaching field are manifold. By working with the higher self and the archetypes, people gain a deeper understanding of their inner world and their unconscious processes. This leads to greater self-accept and a stronger sense of wholeness. Clients often report an increased sense of clarity and purposefulness, as they can better recognize and pursue their true needs and wishes. Another advantage is the ability to deal with difficult emotions and experiences. By integrating the shadow, the unconscious, often repressed aspects of the self, people learn to confront and transform their fears and insecurities. This leads to a deeper emotional healing and a feeling of inner freedom. The results of these applications are often profound and sustainable. People report improved relationships, greater professional satisfaction, and a generally more fulfilling life. The connection with the higher self and the work with the archetypes allow them to lead an authentic and meaningful life. Now that we have understood how Carl Jung's theories influence modern self-help and coaching, we want to look at some further resources and literature next. These will help you to continue your journey to self-knowledge and personal development. Continue with us on this fascinating journey. To continue your journey to self-knowledge and the higher self, there is a wealth of further resources and literature that offer you deeper insights and practical tools. Here are some recommended books, articles, websites, as well as lectures and workshops that can help you deepen your knowledge and discover practical exercises. Books about Carl Jung and the higher self. 1. Remembrances, Dreams, Thoughts, by C.G. Jung. In this autobiographical work, Jung shares his life story, his dreams, and the development of his theories. This book offers deep insights into his personal experiences and his view of the higher self. 2. Man and His Symbols, by C.G. Jung and Marie-Louise von Franz. This book explains Jung's theories about symbols and the unconscious in an understandable way and offers many practical examples and illustrations. 3. The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, by C.G. Jung. A comprehensive presentation of Jung's concepts of archetypes and the collective unconscious, which provide essential foundations for the understanding of the higher self. 4. The Red Book, by C.G. Jung. A deeply mystical and personal work that documents Jung's inner journey and his confrontation with the unconscious. This book offers deep insights into boys' spiritual and psychological experiences. Articles and websites. 1. C.G. Jung Institute Zurich. This website offers extensive information about boys' work, current research, events, and training opportunities. 2. Jung Society of Washington. A resource for articles, lectures, and workshops about Jung's theories and their application in the modern world. 3. Academy of Ideas. This page offers deeper videos and articles that explain boys' theories and their relevance to today's life. Recommendations for in-depth studies and practical exercises. 1. Meditation and mindfulness exercises. Regular meditation helps to clarify consciousness and strengthen the connection to the higher self. Practice daily meditation techniques such as light meditation or the visualization of your higher self. 2. Dream work and dream interpretation. Run a dream diary and analyze your dreams to decipher the messages of your unconscious and your higher self. Jung's techniques of dream interpretation offer valuable insights. 3. Active imagination. Practice the technique of active imagination, in which you consciously interact with characters and scenes from your unconscious. This method can help to promote deeper insights and healing. 1. Jungian psychology workshops. Many institutes and centers offer workshops and seminars on Jung's theories. These events offer the opportunity to exchange ideas with other interested parties and learn from experienced Jungian analysts. 2. Online courses and webinars. Platforms such as Coursera, Udemy, and others offer online courses on boys' theories and their application in practice. These courses can be completed from the comfort of your own home. 3. Lectures by experts. Visit lectures by experts in the field of Jungian psychology. These events offer deep insights and current research around Jung's theories. Now that you know a variety of resources and literature that can help you continue your journey to self-knowledge and the discovery of the higher self, we finally want to summarize the most important points. Join us on to the final word and call for action. We have arrived at the end of our journey through Carl Jung's fascinating theories about the higher self. Let's summarize the most important points again to get a clear picture of what we have learned. Carl Jung has shown us that the higher self is the integrative center of our psyche that helps us to connect our various aspects of consciousness and unconsciousness. His theories about the collective unconscious, archetypes, and individuation offer valuable insights into human nature and the way to self-realization. We have investigated how boys' ideas about the higher self are applied in modern psychology, self-help, and coaching. Inspiring case studies and the work of modern practitioners have shown us how transformative and healing these concepts can be. We also looked at the spiritual and cultural implications of Jung's theories and saw how they build a bridge between Western psychology and Eastern spirituality. Despite some criticism and controversy, Jung's approaches remain relevant and offer a profound perspective on the human psyche and its spiritual dimensions. Now it is up to you to continue to deal with the concept of the higher self and to integrate the tools and techniques we have discussed into your own life. Allow yourself to dive into the depths of your psyche and discover the wisdom of your higher self. Use meditation, dream work, and active imagination to find a deeper connection to your inner core and unfold your full potential. We would like to encourage you to share your experiences and thoughts with us. Leave a comment and tell us how this trip has helped you so far and what insights you have gained. Your feedback is important to us and helps us to continue to create valuable content. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any more inspiring content. Also activate the notifications so that you always stay up to date when we upload new videos. Together we can build a strong community and walk the path to self-knowledge and self-realization together. Thank you for taking this trip with us. May your higher self always guide you and give you the wisdom to lead a fulfilling and meaningful life. Until next time, stay in touch with us and your true self.